Gaslighting, the subtle manipulation technique designed to make you doubt your reality and question your own truth, often hides in the dark. But what about the different counterparts? Well, in today's video, we are going to shine a light on three hidden forms of gaslighting you might not have even realized were gaslighting, and what you can do about these specific dynamics. And my goal for you is that by the end of this video today, you will know exactly what gaslighting is, how to recognize it very quickly, and also be in a position to know exactly how to respond using an exercise I'll go through at the end of this video specifically to address gaslighting head on when it happens so that you don't put up with any of it any longer. In fact, we'll even talk about how to walk away from a gaslighter if this is something you're seeing as a pattern in a relationship. Now, if you're new here, my name is Thais. I'm the founder of the Personal Development School and basically put together a whole bunch of online courses after being in client practice, working with people on their attachment styles, relationship healing, and just self-development as a whole for the better part of 10 years. And I've now been doing this online version of counseling and coaching for the last 5 years or so. So I'm really glad that you're here today and really excited to share this video with you. If you enjoy it, please do not forget to subscribe to this channel so you don't miss any of our daily content. So we often know the overt forms of gaslighting. Most people are quite familiar with these concepts or ideas. And we sort of think of the overt forms of gaslighting as things like scapegoating, right? Somebody, you know that your reality is correct, you know your experience is right, but you're being made to question it. You're being told, oh, you should go see somebody, you should seek help. You're remembering things wrong. What's wrong with you? And there's this lack of accountability that's taking place in the person doing the gaslighting, and this sort of subconscious attempt to push that accountability onto you and to avoid any sort of feelings of shame or responsibility for that person's part in the argument. And often this is really common with gaslighting and what somebody gaslighting is doing. But there are other forms of gaslighting. They're often these sort of like hidden beneath the surface type of forms. And our first one that goes unnoticed the vast majority of the time is what I like to call creating defects. And this form of gaslighting is used as an overall subconscious strategy, often by a narcissistic person, to literally manipulate your reality and how you think you should be showing up. So this is a subconscious strategy, not just used to deflect blame and scapegoat and avoid having to take responsibility for something that they said or did, but actually to try to manipulate your behavior in a relationship. And it's something really important to recognize. So an example of this could be if somebody in a relationship is trying to increase the amount of intimacy that exists in a relationship rather than seeing one partner as having a different set of needs. Like let's say let's say it's a narcissistic person. Let's say they're looking to have more sex in a relationship. And let's say that they don't recognize the difference in sex drive that you may have or the amount of intimacy you may feel comfortable having because of the state of the relationship and where it's at. Rather than having a discussion about your differences and airing, hey, what's going on for you, or if I've noticed you withdrawing or things like that, and having open dialogue about it. Instead, it's like you have a problem with your sex drive. Your sex drive is too low. Another example of this could be with emotions, like, oh, you are way too emotional. You have emotions all the time that nobody else is like this. There's something wrong with you. And it's this idea of creating defects in your perception of your own reality as a subconscious strategy, or at times even conscious strategy when we're talking about more narcissistic individuals, to manipulate your behavior. And it's like, if I can make you think that your sex drive is wrong, if I can make you think that your emotions are wrong, rather than understanding that, one person might have differences from another person and just being okay with that, or understanding that, hey, we have a difference in this part of our relationship. We're having growing differences in the relationship. Let's discuss it. Let's talk about it. Let's see what's sort of falling off track. Rather than just respecting differences and discussing compromises, this person tries to make you and your reality wrong or defective so that they can force you to think that you should be changing your behavior in order to normalize who you are. And this is a really important thing to pay attention to and to be aware of, because what can become sort of insidious about this is when the person doesn't recognize that this is taking place and starts, in essence, getting manipulated by this behavior, and actually second guessing themselves, and then actually changing their behavior, who they are, what their boundaries are, what they want, what they need, as a strategy to sort of gain favor with the narcissist or narcissistic person, to produce the output of being accepted, when of course what we often see with people who are predisposed to creating these types of behaviors to begin with, so the people that are likely to gaslight pervasively in relationships, are usually not going to stop gaslighting when the behavior changes. They're going to usually keep trying to move the needle to gain more and more of their desired outcomes using strategies like this that are quite insidious and unhealthy. So that's our first one. Our second one is what I call third party gaslighting. And this goes hand in hand with triangulation. But there's this concept or idea of using external people's comments, and I put this in air quotes for a reason, to make you doubt yourself. And so, we often look at triangulation as bringing sort of this like third party into the relationship, and referencing them or actively bringing them into the relationship in some form to try to manipulate the person that the narcissistic individual is in a relationship with. And that's sort of a behavioral thing that's happening. When I'm just discussing gaslighting, this can go hand in hand with triangulation anyways, but when I'm just discussing this from a gaslighting perspective, the third party gaslighting is this idea of like sometimes making up people's comments, as a strategy to again make you question yourself, doubt your reality, and change your behavioral output. So an example of this might be, oh, my coworker says no partner would ever do what you're doing. Right. Or, my friend says his wife or that her husband or their husband, never does what you're doing. Like something's wrong with you and what's going on from your perspective. And this moves into more of a gaslighting sort of phenomenon when this is not real stuff, right? It's just somebody referencing a fictitious conversation, and really trying to like manipulate the dynamic and change your behavior and how you're showing up and make you question yourself and your reality as a strategy. This is the point of this person bringing up these so-called conversations. So really important to be aware of as well.
So I have some really exciting news, and it's that integrated attachment theory training is back. So who is this for? Well, of course, this is for any individual who wants to make an impact and really be of service to others while also obtaining freedom and flexibility and abundance in their lives. And this is also for anybody who's already a counselor, a therapist, a coach, and just really wants to expand their toolkit. We've had so many people enter into the integrated attachment theory program because they're just looking to obtain a certain degree of mastery in terms of understanding their own attachment patterns and also the attachment patterns of maybe their children or partner or other loved ones in their lives, so they can really support those people and understand them more deeply. So if you're interested, click the link below to learn more and dive in with me. And I'd love to see you on the other side before seats run out.
And then last but not least, we have this silent gaslight. And this is yet again just another strategy that the narcissistic individual will often use in a relationship to specifically make you question yourself, question your reality, doubt what's going on for you, and if you're okay, and make you walk on eggshells, try to change your behavior. And this is intentional and consciously oriented stonewalling, as a strategy to punish you for your behaviors that are wrong, right? And again, all of these are in air quotes for the purpose of recognizing that this may be wrong for the narcissistic person who has a very difficult time with empathy and a very difficult time seeing somebody else outside of their reality, right? And so they sort of see through this lens of assuming that everybody's almost a character in their story. And as a result of that, we see these dynamics that can be really, really challenging where, if I just think you're a character in my story, if your behavior isn't the way my mind and story thinks your behavior should be, there's something wrong with you. And I may, as a narcissistic person without empathy, actually believe that, right? That may be what I believe about the situation, is that you should be behaving the way that I expect you to behave at all times. And if you're not, then there's something wrong with you. So now I have to do something to manipulate those circumstances and change it. And again, these are all extremely damaging things long-term to relationships, not just to the quality of connection between two parties, but also to the individual on the receiving end of these things, who usually as a byproduct, because the subconscious mind gets conditioned through repetition, will accidentally over time repetitively end up questioning themselves and, in essence, start gaslighting themselves as a result. And so I will do a follow-up video about, are we gaslighting ourselves, how to sort of pay attention, recognize, notice, warning signs to pay attention to. And if you want to learn more about this or do a deeper dive, I have an entire course that's very in-depth, all about how to overcome narcissistic abuse. By specifically targeting the subconscious mind's imprints, pain points, core wounds, dealing with complex grief, and re-regulating our nervous system. So we go into a lot of these different things. You can check it out for free for 7 days using the link in the description box below. And I will follow up with some more content about this. I hope you enjoyed this video today and it was helpful. Thank you so much for watching and being here. Please like, share, and subscribe, and I will see you in the next video.